Here at Max Fish Camp in Florida's northern Everglades, an airboat can handle what a normal boat cannot, traveling across just a few inches of water. But other parts of the Everglades have even less. Boat routes that were once filled with water are now marked with exposed grass and cracked marsh. And Marshall Jones, the fourth-generation owner of Max Fish Camp, worries drought will eventually dry up his fishing guide and boat tour business too.
Here we are mid-February, and we're already at, mid-April water levels. The landscape is already dried, beginning to crack, and the wildlife has migrated to the last remaining ponding areas, which is where we would typically operate our airboat tours at and fishing guide service. Those areas are going to be inoperable by the airboats in a safe manner by the end of this week. We are belly up, and we have to hang out the towel and let it dry for now. It's a serious gut punch to have this sort of economic impact 2 years in a row. I don't know that we'll be able to fully recover from it. I will probably have to sell many of my business's assets just to be able to float our regular monthly expenses and to sustain the business from going bankrupt.
Water levels in the Everglades are at the lowest in more than a decade, according to the South Florida Water Management District. That's not only sinking Jones's business, but also his way of life.
My family's lived on this property now for 96 years. My entire life, I'm 48 years old, my entire life I've spent here, learned how to walk on this dirt road, how to swim in the canal with the alligators, and learned how to hunt and fish on all of this amazing piece of God's creation, which we call the Everglades, the river of grass.
Experts say as South Florida gets warmer, it gets drier because heat affects the evaporation of the massive wetland ecosystem. Jones questions how much more pressure the ecosystem can withstand.
The Everglades was never supposed to be developed into what we have today, which is this vast, sprawling metropolis that encroaches into nature. The wildlife can't really sustain much more encroachment. And the current management practices and future management plans need to be addressed and changed in such a manner that they make this ecology more sustainable for the historical occupation of the native wildlife that should be thriving here.